Hello, my name is Tessa Asquith-Lamb and I'm an artist. I work for the City Arts Centre and other venues, leading workshops and also running described tours for the visually impaired. In the first of two videos today, I'm going to be talking about John Duncan's Tristan and Isolde from 1912. I'm going to be describing it in this first video, and then in my second video giving you some ideas about an art activity you might like to try based on some of the patterning in the picture. This painting has been chosen because of its real kind of intensity of colour, its brilliant sort of detail, and also the narrative point that the artist has chosen in this very sort of dramatic story for his painting. Two people stand on the deck of a ship, looking into each other's eyes. They hold between them a shallow glass bowl containing what is a love potion. Now, love potions in stories don't usually work out very well, and in the many, many different versions of this story, it seldom works out very well for the two people involved. But this is before all that happens. These two people are just about to make the decision to drink from that bowl. The male figure is Tristan, a Cornish knight. He'd been almost mortally wounded in a duel, and the beautiful Irish princess Isolde had nursed him back to health. And that's the other lady in the picture. Now, Tristan had gone back to his uncle, King Mark, and told him what had happened, and King Mark decided that he wanted to marry Isolde and sent Tristan back to fetch her. And this is the moment on the deck of the ship when he's bringing Isolde back to marry his uncle, but instead they're about to fall in love with each other with the help of this love potion. In some versions of the story, the love potion is meant for the king and Isolde. In some versions, they drink it accidentally, but in this version, it looks like a very definite decision between them both to have this love potion. Isolde's hair is blowing in the wind, and there's one little strand that's all sort of snaking out towards him, as if it's almost sort of already reaching out towards the man that's going to become her lover. They're wearing very elaborate clothing. Isolde's wearing a beautiful kind of shot shimmering kind of silky material dress. It goes between kind of red and blue-green, and over her shoulders it's almost transparent. She's got long wavy hair. It almost looks like when your hair's been in a plait and you undo it and it still has the crinkles in it. Around her hair she wears a kind of thick gold crown. And I've got a gold crown here, well, not real gold. This is a 19th century processional crown. And if I just pop it on my head like this, and then turn my head one way or the other, you can see how the heavy crown presses into my hair. And you've got that lovely contrast of the metal and the hair together. And this painting's full of these beautiful, rich details like that. Golds and fabrics and really lovely textures. Now, Tristan's clothing is really thick red material, and embroidered over the top of it is beautiful sort of gold snake-like forms, kind of Celtic or pictured interlaced serpent-like snakes that twist round and bite each other's tails. And round his neck is a kind of green-coloured band, also covered in this Celtic interlace. There's more bits of Celtic interlace on the ship itself. There's a spiral behind Isolde, and part of the sides of the boat have been carved with interlace as well. Now, John Duncan was part of the Celtic revival in the arts, and so was very interested in these ancient forms of decorative art that have these twisting, interlacing patterns. We can tell they're on the deck of a ship, not because he's painted the whole ship. He's used a shorthand for that. In the back we can see the sea, which is really choppy, and you'd think it was a bit kind of rough to be holding this very sort of shallow dish of love potion without it spilling one way or the other. But then he's put in like ropes and part of the sail at the top and blocks and tackles and all these kind of things that show you're on the deck of a ship. But he's really just interested in this moment in time between these two figures before everything changes and they drink the potion. The paint technique that gives us the really intense colours in this picture is quite unusual for its time. John Duncan was using a really ancient paint technique called tempera. Most artists had transferred from tempera to painting in oils many, many years before. And oil paint gives you longer to work on a picture because the oil means that the paint and the pigments dry much slower and it has a kind of glossier surface. John Duncan's using tempera paint, which is made using really strong, beautiful powder pigments like these. And instead of oil, you use an egg as the mixing material, not the whole egg, just the yolk. So you crack your egg and you split the yolk by stabbing it with the end of your paintbrush, and the yolk pours out, and you mix it with water, and then some of this pigment, I'll just mix a little bit here, and sometimes a little bit of vinegar. And if you had any powder paint at home, you could actually have a go at this. These are proper sort of rich pigment colours here, but if you had powder paint, you could try mixing it with some egg yolk and water, and what you'll get is a really beautiful intense paint. Just have a go at that. See that? And it dries to a really sort of chalky, flat, intense finish, and you do have to work quite quickly with it because it does dry really quickly, but it gives you this lovely kind of beautiful colour and intensity. So I hope you've enjoyed having a look at this picture with me today. In my second video, I'm going to be showing you how to do an art activity based on some of the Celtic interlace that you can see in this picture. So I hope you'll join me for that.